We are live now. Hello and welcome everybody. So we're here on WIN, we're here on our voices, and we're here on our WIN YouTube channel. So we are simultaneously broadcasting, and we are just waiting for people to come in. So once we have a few of you coming in and seeing your comments of saying hello and so on, just waiting for for the moment. And in the meantime, I think once we have a few people, okay, we can see some of them coming in, and then I will want to welcome everybody to this session, which is knowing also JK. We have Mr. Very happening name JK, but Mr. Jaya Kumar. Yes, okay. So I'm going to hand over to Vanita because she is the one who has muted this whole affair, and I want her to be the best person to tell you more about what's happening to find out more about your psychological well-being. So take it away, Vanita.
Thank you, June. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday night. I'm sure everyone is just kind of had your dinner and chilling, but today's session is something that is very, very dear to my heart. As most of you know, I am a big advocate of mental health issues. I've been doing a lot of work in regards to that. So a little background to this is when JK approached me because he's already putting this together with some counselors. I thought, great, we need this. We need this more than ever right now. People going through a lot of issues, especially stress and going to depression and all that. So I thought this was perfect. Why not bring in experts into this? And we do something like this. And more so, I think the thing that really got my attention was the fact that this was a psychological well-being program. We've heard of mental health programs and all that, but this was psychological well-being, which I thought, wow, this is so good because it is in totality, it is very holistic, and I think it's going to be something that it will appeal to a lot of people because sometimes it's not just our mental health that needs work, but overall we need to be in a good state as well. Again, I would like to thank everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and I would like to now introduce everyone. Of course, we know JK. JK runs JK Signature Wellness. Thank you, JK, for being here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And I would like to introduce to all of you our expert counselors, Mr. Surendran Pillai. He calls himself the mentalist, okay, which is very interesting. He is a registered and licensed counselor. He's a guidance and counseling graduate with psychology and coaching. He also does laughter yoga, which I want to know more about, hypnotherapy, hypnoparenting, psychometric testing. So thank you so much for being here, Surendran. How are you?
Likewise, good. I'm happy to be here too. Yeah.
Thank you. And of course, we have the lovely Dr. Linda, who's also a registered and licensed counselor. She is a bit of everything. She has got a PhD in counselor education from the University of Waikato, New Zealand, and she's a guidance and counseling education, master's in education from University Putra, Malaysia, and she's got a BA honors in social science, economics, University Kebangsaan, Malaysia. So you've done the whole 360, which is fantastic. How are you, Linda?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Vanita. It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So I hear that Linda has been away for a while and now she's back. Back in our waters, which is why we've kind of captured her because we need her. We need her expertise as well. So I want to quickly move into what really are we doing today? A lot of people will be questioning the fact that why are we doing this? What are we doing? What exactly are we trying to put forth? So my very first question, which I'll throw it to Surain, is what is psychological well-being, Surain? Can you explain to our viewers in today what is psychological well-being?
Well, right. Thank you, Vanita. So psychological well-being is something that has been there quite for some time, but it's very much spoken about right now. Why? Because there is so much awareness about the psychological well-being right after what we are facing now, what we are going through now with the pandemic. So when you say psychological well-being, it becomes tricky because when you say it's well-being. But then why psychological well-being? Because when you have a headache, when you have a flu, When you have a fever, it is visible, you know something is not right, and you quickly go to get some treatment. But then when you say psychological well-being, and there's an issue there, it takes a while for you to understand, and the irony part of it is, even if you understand, you would think twice to take the next step, because of this labeling, this stigma that we have, to go and see a counselor, what would people say, that fear, that hesitancy that we put, to take one foot back, not to get treatment, not to get well. We suppress things, and that results for us to get worse. So physically we might be fine, financially we might be fine, and we might be having a good job, we might be having a family, but then there is also another element. That's the missing piece of the perfect life that we're looking at. So there's one more piece called psychological well-being. So when that is missing, no matter how perfect the remaining puzzles are, you don't get the complete picture. So when you say psychological well-being, it's in our wellness in totality, in physical and also mental. So that's very, very crucial, especially for the audience that we are facing, those who to manage the family. Their psychological well-being will transpire to the well-being of the community itself. So I think that's why we are talking about this. Right. Thank you, Anita.
Absolutely, Surendra. Thank you so much, Suren. And Linda, just to throw something back to you, would be basically, Suren just said that in order for us to be at a certain level, we want to have that perfect life. Is the perfect life even in existence, right? Is there even something called a perfect life? We're all striving towards something or other, right? And more so right now in the pandemic, how do we even manage? A lot of people are already on survival mode. We no longer are thriving, but we're in survival mode right now. So, Linda, what would you say to people who are still pushing themselves, still want to be in that state of being, oh, I want to still be in the pre-pandemic state, but we're not. We're in a totally different state. So what would you say to people like that?
Okay, before I go into that, let me add something. Yeah, psychological well-being include it affect us. Yeah, it shape us. Yeah, how to think, how to behave, and also how do we feel. So these three area. So now let's go back to the area where at this pandemic situation. Yeah, how do we respond to the pandemic? Yeah, very uncertain, very afraid, very worried. Some of us may be anxious about it. Yeah, so how do you behave about this? Some of us get agitated, yeah, because we are confined, yeah, at our own home and not allowed to go out, yeah, for our own safety, and we want to take care ourselves as an act of love. We also take care of others as well. So by confining ourselves, so all these are shaping us to be in a situation where quite for long term is not good. Yeah, because we as a human, we are a social creature. Yeah, so I think no matter how advanced is the technology, it seems like the technology can only allow us to see the face, but not the physical interaction. Imagine having a meal together in front, all of us having a meal, but at the same time, we are seeing through a screen. So it is very different experience compared to the in-person. So for those who are in such a situation, I think all of us are trying our level best. I think this is the may I use the word last draw? It could have been something that trigger. Maybe a news, like for example, if you saw the COVID-19 status, and then just that it snap you, and then it get you very agitated and do not know how to respond. Sometimes we tend to ignore our own feelings, yeah, because physically we are fine. I'm not talking about being ill lah. I'm talking about at home, yeah. But we used to suppress, most probably because of could be our culture too. Yeah, we used to not pay attention to how we feel, how we think, and how we act. We are only focusing on when you have a wound on your body, then you go and treat it. But for mental health, usually people at this time during COVID, most of the time we didn't even acknowledge it. But I think the COVID invite us to pay more attention now. We have physical health, so our mental health also equivalently very important to all of us. Thank you, Vanita.
Perfectly said, Linda. It's so true, right? Because I think before pre pandemic, we are all just busy living our lives, going working, taking care of the family, doing the things we need to do, running around, pottering around. But then, the pandemic kind of really put that into your, like one of those things that it's forced you to kind of look at yourself, right? I mean, that happened to me, and I only can give you my personal story because I think when the first lockdown happened last year in March, we are tired at home. What else can we do? There's no interaction. You have to take a good hard look at yourself. So a lot of things start creeping in, right? And then as we go along, and it hasn't stopped. We thought, oh, it's going to be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Then 1.5 years, we're still here. What's going on, right? And then a lot of us, our savings have depleted. Work isn't happening. We can't pay our bills. Everything is accumulating. People are on our back. People are getting sick. And then we hear on a daily basis someone's getting someone's like really ill because of COVID, or someone's dying because of COVID. Nothing is happening. We're here, we're there. We are, so many things that are happening to us. So it's only natural, right, that this has really put a perspective into our lives. So JK, when you came to me, right, I mean, I know you've been very, very interested in doing this as well. And when you and I spoke about this, right, what triggered you to do this, and why did you think it's important for you to put this forth?
Well, basically, we've been our JK signature has been already started. We already started this program at least 3 years ago already, and we've been servicing certain clients, corporate clients. And I'm also very new to this mental health and all these programs. But after joining with Suren and my team, I realize actually it's a very important thing in general. It's not only for corporate or anything, for normal every one of us. It's very important, and we don't realize it. For example, like me, I live alone. Sometimes like what Linda said, certain things triggers me, but thankfully in somehow or other I try to manage myself and divert myself and come back to earth, basically that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, when we started for the corporate clients and we saw a lot of change, that was the biggest eye opener for me, because I at the beginning I also didn't think that it's important. It must be some, if you're mentally ill or something like that. But after talking to my clients, especially the response, they have seen leaps and bounds of changes, and a lot of differences with the employees. Employee has their KPI, it's all so good. So and it happened in the range within 6 months to above. Of course it doesn't work overnight, no way, right? But with consistency and with love and good communication and understanding, it really worked. And thank God, I would say more and more clients are coming to us because they see the necessity of employees being need this kind of help. So for me, it started from there, and now I think due to the pandemic, we need to share this kind of knowledge and also our experience to more people, because a lot of people don't realize it. So I think sharing is caring, and this session is what we are here for, to give a platform and also a bridge to the community and to everyone out there, to say that it's okay. There's nothing wrong. You just come, talk to us, talk to our counselors, and we are there to help you.
Yeah.
That's my hope, lah.
Yeah. I mean, that was exactly our conversation as well, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about it, and I know I have been talking to June Hamid of WieN for a very long time. We wanted to do something even way before the pandemic hit in March last year. We were going to do a support group for for mental health issues. And hi, June. So
I heard my name, so I came out of the
yeah, I
shadows.
know. I had to bring you in. So yeah, the thing is, we've been talking so long about it, June, since last year. We've been very early last year. We've been talking about it way.
Yeah, yes. I mean, we do have, we've just invested in a WieN Community Center, the WieN Community Cafe. And I feel that it is a safe space, it is a sanctuary of sorts. And we wanted to kickstart something. And just about when were getting ourselves into it,
Yeah, sometime in March, I think.
and now we have 3.0. And but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, as always. And as we equip ourselves to come back to the new norm, and this is what I've been emphasizing with everyone, that this cannot last forever. I mean, just today Denmark has announced they've got 80% herd immunity, and they're taking down all the SOPs, so I think, and we're very much closer to like 60%, 61% was announced today. And I've been like a pro vaccine and really pro mental health, because hey, I mean, we all have to get back to this new norm with gusto. This is what I'm going to really propagate here on WieN, and also for everyone else, because that's how community commerce thrives. We cannot afford to just sit back and kind of like see what happens. We have to actually make it happen. So part of it is just doing these kind of reach outs and these talks as much as possible. So yeah, I'm really on top of really supporting everything that's positive to bring the hysteria and myopia of like misinformation. And there's a lot of things out there we can't control, but we can control how we react to it. So I
Yep.
think this is where we're coming from. If you can manage your emotions, and you can control how you respond to things, that is fundamentally going to make you much much stronger to weather any type of storm. So yeah,
Yep.
I'm completely on board for this, and I really hope everyone comes into it, with the same mindset. So yeah, that's my
Thank you.
add-on.
Thank you, June. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for even giving us this platform to talk about this, because I think it's so important to be able to, debunk the myth about, the whole psychological well-being. So, Surain, going back to you, Surain, I was going to ask you, the thing about this whole psychological well-being, does that include mental health? Or is it the main thing about the whole psychological well-being? How would you, kind of, put this into perspective?
Well, basically, mental health is definitely the big picture of it. If you have if you're looking at it on an eagle eye view, Vanita. So mental health is the big picture of it. So achieving that is the ultimate goal. But in between, there's a lot of hurdles that we have to get through to reach to that point. So that's where this pandemic has been an eye opener. I would even say, it's a blessing in disguise, where people start to realize, this part is even more important. I was listening to a radio sharing, and they said, what are the new things that people picked up during this pandemic? So they said people are eating healthy food, people start to exercise at home, people start to do beneficial stuff at home. So part and parcel of it is now that we are talking about mental health, psychological well-being and stuff. So as people in the field, I think me and Dr. Linda, we have been championing this for some time long ago, even before the pandemic. So like, for example, I would leverage on what Jay shared just now. You see, if there's no pandemic, another thing that, say for example, you just imagine there was no pandemic, everybody is doing like what you said, we are doing everything that we used to do in our daily lives. Did we ever notice that we are having a major shift in the workforce? So there's different generation coming in. So I believe now those who are starting to work are people from those who are born in 95 and above. So these are brand new generation who's coming in, and the baby boomers are leaving out. So what are the adjustment that we do in the organization to accommodate these people who's coming in? Baby boomers and the X generation are survivors. They will work in whatever condition you are. I mean, we would have heard these stories of, you're thrown, the file is thrown at you, you're told that you're doing a terrible job and so, and they survived, but not the next generation who's coming in. So they are emotionally and mentally quite fragile, to manage their emotions. So that's where the psychological well-being comes in. Now that is where we were marching, and then pandemic comes in. So now is like we the work to champion it is focused more on the pandemic, and now we are realizing it without even championing it. So people get emotional breakdowns. People, like what Jay mentioned just now, when we work together, we have seen incidents where there's this breakouts at workplace, people doing weird things at workplace, all because of their psychological well-being affected. And one thing we need to realize is that psychological well-being very much relates back to the productivity of employees today. So 10, 20 years ago, you got a problem in the family, you're going through a divorce and stuff. Still, my job is my job. I have to do it and I go home. But now it's not the story. When people would be having trouble to focus when they have issues, personal issues. So as employers can no longer skip this part. Your personal issue is your personal issue. I want you to work. I want you to perform. So that is not possible. So the employers are stuck with another responsibility, which is to take care of the well-being, psychological well-being of their staff. But they have got very minimal grasp of knowledge on this. That's where people like Jay comes in to give a hand. That makes the whole cycle very meaningful. So that's where wellness at workplace matters. So that's what we are looking at and we are discussing. So yeah.
Right. But you also do a lot of one-on-one, correct? Not just overall on just employees or employers. It's also very personalized, one-on-one sessions as well. So Linda, everyone seems to have a little bit of a thought or something or other on mental health. Mental health is such a big thing right now. Everyone is talking about it, but then there's also this taboo. The taboo that's attached to it. Now, what do we do? We need to tell people that it's not taboo anymore to talk about it. So how can we do that, Linda?
It seems like this taboo has every day the taboo is growing, and until this generation the taboo is still exists. So this binary is too big for us to to cope with it. So but we can do something small, because I always believe that by practicing hope, we are doing something together in a way that we are creating a community of care together. How can we do that? Let me explain to you. Like what Jaya Kumar is doing now, Jay is doing, by practicing hope together with the workplace people in the organization. Start from the organization. The individual, when they have experience, they have someone to talk to. They have sort out their sort of like, not saying sort out, at least they have someone to talk to. They engage with themselves. They relate to themselves. They relate to their colleague at workplace. And that, when they bring home, they started to relate to their family members as well. So all these, we are human. Humans are very funny. All of us. I think Mr. Suren and I, we agree that, we are human has our ability to solve our own problems. It is God gift. But when we have this ability, when we are in a very vulnerable situation, we may have forgotten how to help ourselves. So that's where, like talking to someone else, not giving you advice, but listening to your own voice. The counseling here is give you a platform, to give voice to your concern, give voice to your experiences. Then by listening to your own voice, then you can connect with yourself through that particular way. So now all these small steps, from Jay to Suren and now to Vanita. You see how one person relate to another professional, and then now it broadcasts to the community. We are now, creating a community of care so that everybody can work together in a small way. And just like how COVID taught us, we start taking care of ourselves, and then that is an act of love by not going out, by staying at home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Linda. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's so true. But again, like we spoke about earlier, the whole thing about it's not just employer employee, but it's also a personal thing. Like on WieN, WieN is a community where there's a lot of buyers and sellers. People are actually selling their things. Whether they're home based or otherwise. So it's the same thing as well, right? They also go through a lot of challenges on a daily basis. Trying to get things together. Sometimes there could be delays and stuff. So I think basically, what it is the fact that right now what we're trying to do is to also put this forward to the WieN community so that you can also get the help. There's so many different people out there who need the help, who don't know how to do this or don't know where to reach out to. So yeah, good. We have basically come up with the program simply because it's especially curated for the WieN members because as we spoke about before, June, as well. There's a lot of runs and stuff and everything. It's here is a little platform. Here is our experts to help you. We are reaching out to you to help. And again, as we are community driven, this is exactly what we are doing. Am I right in saying that, June?
Yes, absolutely. Whenever you say WieN and June, I pop up and I'm at attention. But of course, I'm listening to everything else, and it's yeah, it's deeply moving for me because as the admin, mentor, and coach here, I would say I'm like the super mentor, super coach because I can't take of that care of them individually. I like to see everyone helping each other, and what you're saying, Linda, is absolutely true. I mean, we are communities within a community. We have to have our circles of protection. We have to choose the people we want to surround ourselves with, and they must be positive and they must gravitate us towards success. So I believe you can choose the family you want to surround yourself with. Because yes, I think there's been a lot of personal sharing on WieN recently, and we don't filter the messages unless there is I mean, what happens is if there is anything to do with personal rants and so on, we want a solution, we want a takeaway. You can't just put your problems out there for everybody to scrutinize and look into without having a greater takeaway. So if there's something which just is set there and pauses for effect, we can't help you because I'm not a psychologist. I mean, Dr. Linda is, and Surin is, and Vanita and I, we are, and we're just observing, but we feel that they really need to take the step forward. So I personally am going for grief counseling. I got a therapist, I've got a psychologist helping me to get forward, and we did a session, I think 2 weeks ago, Vani and myself, and we talked at it from the perspective of someone who has sought out help. And we need help, to be optimal, we need help.
Absolutely, absolutely,
People
absolutely.
who don't know how to take us through a proper process. This is what I really want them to do. You cannot rely on family and friends who love you, but they just don't have the skills or the tools or the techniques to get you through. So speak to the professionals, invest in them, and we talked about that it is affordable. I think the program now is as Vani has shared with me, and I think you're going to talk more about the details of the program, and we are wanting to position ourselves with actually having a premier partners, who can provide sort of like affordable services to the WPC, who is our membership program. We have 600 over members there, and also overall to our community of 57,000 members. So we want them to take care of themselves, and I know that the offerings are very affordable. We are not taking any cut. I refuse to take any commission for your mental well-being. I have told them that we will offer it directly to the members. We are not middlemen and so on. I just want everybody to get to a platform where they are well, they feel really good about themselves, and then they can progress forward in that sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, that's my take on that.
Thank you, June. Thank you so much. Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. We are trying to put together an introductory program, just especially curated for the WieN members. I will put down details very soon on WieN and also our Voices group. Basically, what we're trying to do is do introductory group session with our counselors, Surain and Linda, and one other counselor perhaps, Rao. And we're trying to do this perhaps next week. So, what we're trying to do is, the thing about this is that at the end of the day, yes, we all want things to be done, as a favor. But, I think mental health is such an important thing right now. We need to invest something in our mental health. So, we are doing it at a very, very minimal level, because, this is our counselors' times as well, their time, actually giving it out there and, putting it out there, helping you with all the right tools, necessary tools for you to take this through. So if the introductory session is something you think that you want to come on, I will put up details later. I will put up, even the registration forms as well. You can register with the pricing as well, which is really minimal because it's community service again. And you can join in the introductory and see, whether this is going to be something that you want to do for 90 minutes. And then maybe perhaps you need more work. We can always, you can reach out to us and we can do one-on-one therapy sessions as well. Again, I'm not an expert, neither is Jay, but here we are trying to put this together because we think this is so necessary for the community. And therefore we have, experts like Surain and Linda. Linda, also going back to it, I think some of the things that we want to put together during this session is about emotional well-being and emotional management, knowing yourself and mental resilience, basically. So what do you think, when our audiences come in, or the members of WieN or Our Voices come in, what can they expect in a session like this when we do a group therapy session?
Okay. To me, I see that group therapies is very, beneficial during this COVID time, because we get to connect or re-engage with people, but through virtually. So no matter what, I think virtual is becoming, something that safer for everyone. Yeah. So now group counseling, group work, is very powerful now, even more better than the individual, because all of us are struggling with the desire to connect with another person. Yeah. So when we group together, all of us shared one situation, which is the pandemic. Yeah, when we are working together, that is the core issues that all of us face. And then from there, we beginning to work with everyone. So we learn from our members as well in the group setting. Yeah, so we learn from each other, because there's during this pandemic time, when we were alone, we get so so far away from the society, so far away, even when we live together in the family. Yeah, we have our own study room, you have your own study room. We get to meet only during dinner, or sometimes we don't even meet during dinner or meal time. Each one of us have different timing. Yeah, but this group work reconnect and re-engage with each other. And then at the same time, through our sharings, through the listening, the bouncing back, the situation, then we get, to learn from each other. There are a lot of things we can learn from each other. How you survive during this time, or how did you work on this issue during this pandemic? I think the learning together is the one that empower us, to continue to work with ourselves. Thank you.
Yep. Just going to take a question from Hadib. How do you help with suicidal tendency in these times? Surain, would you like to take this question?
Right. Thank you so much. Just to leverage a little bit before I answer the question, just to leverage a little bit on what Dr. Linda just shared. When you talk about group therapies, these group therapies are very, very dynamic. Basically, people ask me, put it in a very simple word, what is this counseling and therapy about? So answering that, I use a lot of analogies to answer. So what I used to say is that, you see, how do you feel when you have a drop of water? Is it big or small? And definitely it's small. But how do you feel when you have it on your eyelashes? So you feel like, wow, it's like, yeah, it is something big and I can't see. So I said that is basically how you treat your issues, your problems. You feel that you are experiencing something really big. So when you come for counseling, what the counselor does isn't wiping it off. We are just taking the drop and putting it on the table and say, now look at it. So when you look at it, it's not that big of a deal actually. Now I can see it. So this happens in one-to-one, and even group sessions. The same thing happens. We put it down on the table, and everybody looks at it, and everybody shares. How do we all handle this? So the person who came with that water drop will have 5, 6 ideas on how to handle one single thing. So that's how beneficial group therapy is. So by all means, it should be taken into as a tool that we can reach out to. Right, answering the question from Hardip, I think, yeah, exactly. That's one of the issue that we are talking so much right now, where we are seeing, unfortunately, we are seeing many what you call suicidal cases that is happening. So what I am trying to say is that you have to take this very seriously, right? You got to take this very, very seriously. When we are talking about suicidal, you have to understand that it's a very sensitive issue, and it has stages. One is ideation. I think that's what Hardip is asking. Ideation, people have the thought. Second, you have planning. People start to plan. And then there is action where people do it. So at any point, you can never take it very lightly. Because people look at it as a way out. So first step, we take it very seriously, and then we have to help these people with these tendencies to address what exactly that they are facing. It doesn't mean like don't do it, or straight away stop it and all these things, but for us to make them restore their hope, that that's not the possible solution. There's many other solutions. So who's going to put all this solution to someone who has really mix up emotions? So that one, you need the skill, you need the patience, you need the ability to put this all to them very clearly. What are the options instead of the option that they are thinking of, which is suicidal thoughts? So that's where the help needed is very important, and the help needed in time should be there. So for that, we really, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to quickly get them to a counselor. All of us have to help in this, with the first responder, whoever is connected. What you need to do, we call this professional perimeters. So if you are dealing with someone with a suicidal ideation, if you're not a counselor, you're not a psychologist, you're not a therapist, you don't know what to do. First step, how do you respond to it? And then referring them to the right person so that they don't continue with this. So we have to work hand in hand, right? Dr.
Yeah.
Linda has a very vast experience in suicidal. That's how actually I even came to know her. Maybe Dr. Linda, you want to add on something?
Thank you, Suren. Yeah, actually working with people who speak suicides is very challenging for everybody. Yeah, in counseling profession, we call this, profession occupational hazard, and it creates a lot of anxiety among the professional as well. However, there are a lot of techniques, a lot of approaches when we work with people who speak suicide. I would like to call on what Mr. Suren had mentioned just now: patience. Yeah, number 2 is skill. Yeah, but all this when we combine together, yeah, with we heard someone is struggling, or someone put in their social media say that life is no more meaningful. All these are signs. So what can we do when we saw this? We can always reply to the person. Seem like the situation is very overwhelmed for you. Do you want to talk to a professional? Yeah. So now, when we do that, what happens if the person agree to talk to someone? Then we need to know what kind of mental health professional do we have in Malaysia. The first one is we have the psychiatrist, who is a medical doctor. Yeah, this medical doctor prescribe medicine and also apply psychotherapy to a certain particular clients. Then the other mental health professional can be also the clinical psychologist. Yeah, all these clinical psychologists work very closely with the psychiatrist, but they cannot prescribe medication only. So the third type is counselor, that is Suren and I. So we are the one who work with people who are not clinically diagnosed as an illness. Yeah, we work with you and I who maybe speak suicide. Sometimes when we medicalize suicide, yeah, we pay less attention to listening. We immediately refer for psychiatrists take medications, but actually is lost a job, loss of something. But how can medication help me? But maybe counseling can. So you see, it all starts with a small step. By you listening, you heard, you encounter someone who speaks suicide, then you connect. That's very important. You connect these people with the professional, and then the professional can apply some way of support. So now all these are practicing hope, where I would like to call on Katie Weingarten's concept of hope, where hope to her is a verb. We do together. Yeah, we are not, calling on hope as a feeling, but we do together. By one person aware of another person struggling, then we connect the person, and then the person receive help. Yeah, all these are what I think Jay is currently doing, and Suren is doing, and June is doing. By connecting each other, all of you are practicing hope at the same time for people who are struggling with some form of mental health issues. Thank you. Thank you, Suren.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, that is so true. We are all connecting it, so we all connected in a way where we can then go out there and help. I think also most of with Jay and me, we have also experienced, going through this situation as well, and of course June and many others, who are on WieN and also our voices. We are constantly going through situations, challenges. Yeah, someone just said, "Great, June, for having this session for mental health well-being." For all during these trying times. Of course, you are here to help each other. We are a community. We need to help each other. Right now, I think one of the things we need to do is have a super skill, and the super skill is to help each other. We don't do. If we work in silos, it's no longer going to be beneficial for anyone. We need to have the kindness and the empathy enough to bring everyone together and work together as a community. That itself is so important. Basically this group therapy session that we're doing, and we're actually going to do it as an introductory session. Well, it's not something that you need to be embarrassed about, if you want to join in as a group, because again, here we are, putting this together and working together. It doesn't mean that if I go in there, there's going to be 10 other people in there, they're going to know that I'm going to have a problem. How is it? It's not that. We are all here to help each other. You never know, while you're in part of the the therapy session or the group therapy session, introductory therapy session, there may be things and someone else will be talking about, that trigger could be something you can relate to yourself as well. Go, oh, wait a minute, I know that, you see. Because you see, the other thing as well, I'm sure Suren and Linda, you'll agree with me, is I think the one thing the pandemic has really done is bring out all our triggers, right? Our traumas and everything. We all have these traumas that's probably built up over years. And because pre-pandemic, we were so busy doing the things we needed to do that we didn't have time to sit back and kind of take stock of that. But now that we are stuck at home, in the confines of our home, we have no choice but to kind of deal with all that. Suddenly everything starts popping up, right? I went for therapy last year as well with a psychologist, because I thought, what, it's about time. It's about time I did something for myself, and that was the best investment I have done. I went for a couple of sessions. Initially, I was a bit apprehensive. I was like, oh my God, they're going to think I've got mental health issues and this and that. But no, it wasn't, because I came out of it so much better. I had so many tools given to me that right now, when I get to that place, I know what I can do. Yes, people think like, oh, but we don't have the money. But no, I'm not even talking about hundreds of dollars you have to spend for yourself. It's just, we are putting it out there for you to just invest a little bit so that you will then be able to take this through. Now, we could get out of this pandemic in the next 6 months. We could go back to all our normal lives. But then, what is going to be normal anymore? We're not living the pre-pandemic days anymore, because we've gone through this whole cycle of almost 2 years. A lot of things about ourselves have changed. Am I right in saying that, Suren? Suren, we actually are going to come out of it post-pandemic totally different, right?
Definitely, Vanita. You see, you can, again, another analogy that we can use. Picture a tree with fruits, and some rotten branches and stuff, and then a storm comes by. So if the roots are strong enough, the storm goes by with the rotten roots, bad fruits and stuff, and the tree remains refreshed. But if your roots are not strong, the tree might go with the storm. So that's where we are trying our level best so that the roots are strong enough and you can withstand the storm and come out fresh. Come out with a very healthy tree. So definitely, we have to hold on to the saying that there's always a silver lining. So just picture this: when we are done with this COVID thing, we have a badge that we are survivors. Be it we caught the virus or not, but then we are survivors of the pandemic. So down the lane, another 30-40 years, we are going to tell our grandchildren, there was a time where we all walked without even recognizing ourselves because we were covered with masks and stuff. So it's going to be epic. It's going to be we are going to be referenced if there's something like that coming forward in India. So definitely we're going to get through, but how much we got from getting through it matters. Or are we going to get broken by going through it? That matters. So with the right help, with the right resources, we're going to get through just like that tree. Let the storm pass through and we come out refreshed, bearing better fruits with better experience and stuff. So definitely we are going to get through. It's just that with the right resources, with the right mental readiness that we have, we're going to make it through. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you, Suren. Yes, we're all looking forward. I think it's about time, right? We all get out there. I think it's been a bit too long already. I think everyone is just kind of looking forward. I just had a message here by someone who says, I don't like the word pandemic. Can we say this situation? That's a trigger word as well, some people, right? The word pandemic is such a big trigger, right, Linda? Isn't that correct? Linda? Can you hear me? Yeah. So Linda, yeah, I
Yes.
was just saying the word pandemic. I don't like the word pandemic. Can we say this
Mm.
situation? Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Because you see, the pandemic itself and the situation itself is very subjective. And it's up to us. How do we want to relate to this situation? It can be a crisis situation for all of us. But to some, it may not be the same, as everybody respond to the situation very differently. And the moment, imagine, yeah, I always fascinated with the language, because language constitute us. Language is what we want to say is shaped by our background, our knowledge as well. So now, if I see this as a situation, it helps me to manage my emotions, my response to the situation. So that is one way of your coping. So how everybody cope from different with a different way. One of the way is we would like to replace the word pandemic with another words. Maybe that helps you. Yeah, but of course, this is not something that we cognitively wanted to change your mind. Yeah, but it is something that we want to do very differently for yourself. If you wish to change, just like the word suicide, sometimes Mr. Surin and I, we also use another word. Like, for example, are you thinking about ending your life? Are you thinking that, life is not worth living? So it sounds more human than the word suicide. But the word pandemic now also same to all of us. If we don't want to use, then we don't use it. But I think the person who posed this question here is very wise. It seemed like you have a way of coping yourself. Yes, and you take that step by changing the language. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Linda. I want to add about the words that trigger. And you're right. And as a practitioner on your side, you would use very positive connotations. But we, as observers, and because our community is all about tough love, we actually did we actually sort of turned it to the word, instead of suicide, we said self harm, because we're looking at it from a practitioner, like in a medical situation, to say, by calling the necessary authorities. That's all we can do, because given the limited knowledge we have over controlling a situation, the experts have to be called in. So I noticed when I went for my psychology sessions, there was a disclaimer put into, at the bottom there, like, do not come and seek help here if you are thinking of suicide or you are suffering from severe depression leading towards suicide and so on. So which means even in the case of someone who has a therapist and is able to, not able to get them in, not able to contact them in time, they can't be sitting there and waiting and then self-harming. So we basically can only advise you, like, if you are going to think of, which is in the end it is self-harming, because when you take whatever apparatus and you're doing something to yourself, it is what it is. So people from our end will say it as it is, whereas I do like that you are saying your training. So our sort of like exposure is like, we'll just say it as it is. And I felt very limited, because as a admin founder of such a active group, I'm constantly mediating and managing egos, including mine and everybody else's input, and we're a tough crowd. We're a very tough crowd because we really care, and then we don't know what to do. We're kind of like worried, am I giving the person the right answer? And I know what you're saying, like being sort of like being empathetic, it's not something that comes really, we are sympathetic, but we don't know how to practice empathy, and we may get it wrong and send another trigger out. So these triggers and these word connotations, these symbols, these flags, honestly speaking, we're very concerned when it gets out of hand. And the only thing I can do, because we're a community commerce group, is say, please, get the right help. And if anybody observes your best friend or someone, call the authorities.
Mm. Yep.
Order for them to get the help immediately. And I'm not sure what happens. Like if you dial 999 and say someone is self-harming, what is the thing that happens? I'm not sure, because I have never had to do that, thank God. But I'm
Oh,
sure there's situations that happen.
yeah.
Linda,
Do
would
you
you
mind
like?
if I share?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Please, then we can share it here.
Oh,
you know
yes, the authority, you see, in our country, we have these legal legislations, yeah, registered in the Penal Code 309, yeah,
yeah
where it penalize or criminalize people who attempt to end their life, yeah. So the punishment is either they jail you or they fine you or both, yeah. However, this law, yeah, doesn't come with mandatory reporting, yeah. So now it's based on Surin and the professional to assess the situation. However, to a certain situation where it's very critical, the person is at the juncture of, wanted to jump from high-rise building,
yeah
wanted to jump from a bridge. That is
yes
something that counseling doesn't work. Yeah,
yeah
that is something that we need to call someone to support us. So one of the number we can call is 999, and then we can tell them, all right, there is someone at the bridge and wanted to jump. So now our information must be very clear. Yeah, the locations and what you witness. Yeah, the location is very important so that people can send help. So now, if I also sometimes refer my client, yeah, if they are at the point of cannot move out from the thinking about really want to end their life that moment, so they can call 999, ask for an ambulance, yeah, to come and fetch them to the hospital, because our government hospital is the only hospital that has psychiatric ward. Yeah, so then in the psychiatric ward, there are professional who will watch you, called suicide watch. Yeah, they will do this for you, and then they will take care of you until you are well enough to leave the hospital. Yeah, so that
Okay.
is usually what people will do. But however, during this pandemic, I personally experienced one very, caring police person. Yeah, so one of my client who called me and said that I want to die now. So I said, okay, so now do you want to call the police, and or I call the police for you so that people can come and fetch you to the hospital, or I call the ambulance. This person said the police station is just very near to him, because that is during the pandemic in the early last year where we cannot move at all. So now he walked to the police station with me still on the phone on the line, and then he talked to the policeman and said, I want to end my life. Boleh bantu ke saya, hantar saya ke hospital. And then he was talking that I heard that, and then he passed the line where I talked to the policeman. And the policeman, without like paperwork or anything, quickly I can hear from the background, cepat-cepat bantu ini orang. So then they send him to the hospital. So that is the one thing that our Malaysian people are doing now. We are practicing hope by creating a community of care to support each other. I thank the policeman until today. Help my client to survive. Thank you very much to the
Very good.
policeman.
Very good. That's very, very hard. I mean, that's really something that's really good to hear, that it is really the hashtag kita jaga kita,
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's not only a white flag or a whatever flag, it's a heart flag, that all of us carry. And that's one thing about Malaysians. We are very kiasu and kepochi, and we are very
Yes.
door, and it's just something. We are a kampong, I mean, as we're coming up to Merdeka, I'm feeling nostalgic also, but the point is we are a village of villages connected to each other. That's how our community has worked all this while. Forget about all the external issues lah, that's always going to be there, but here fundamentally we do care, and we show that care. And yeah, I'm really it's really heartwarming to hear that. And I'm glad that you've taken us through the process, because that is a wake-up call to us and those who are feeling helpless, supporting someone who's at that brink, and those who are contemplating that, they must know the implications. I mean, a decision made, these are the consequences owned, and there's also cost involved, right? The ambulance coming and getting you, or the police taking you to the station, I mean, to the ward, and the ward cost is there. I'm not saying that but you think about it, you will actually think, oh my god, if it's going to cost me thousands of dollars for something. Let me take a step back
True.
about some things. I know now I've got a lot to live for. I'd rather live for that than worry even more about the burden I'm leaving, and so on. So hence, I think it's a bit of a wake up call to know what's the situation, right? So yeah, I mean, when you keep it real with these kind of stories, it makes us understand and realize that we're not that helpless. We as community leaders here, we really want to look at how do we effectively support someone, rather than just sort of like grappling. I mean, I'm sometimes in the dark, but now I'm actually now set myself on a bit of a trajectory to really help fundamentally, as much as we can. So there's one question here. I just want to show it up, and let's see who would like to take it.
Surein, we'd like to take this. Some still feel negative for meeting, discussing the challenges with the counsellor. May I know what's the reason behind the mindset, and how do we educate those? Thank you.
Right, Ken. Thank you so much for this. I normally in my forums I really welcome this question, because it gives you enlighten in this aspect, and hopefully it doesn't stay in the way it is, right? So why some people feel negative about addressing their issue with the counselor, meeting with people who can help and professional help. This is definitely the effects of this labeling, the stigma that we have developed along the way. So growing up, it has always been negative to say something is not right with me. So we have been, unfortunately, the learning process has always made you have to be fine all the time. But this statement is totally against reality. You cannot be fine all the time. When you lost someone, you will be sad. When you're experiencing a traumatic situation, you will go through some sort of upset and stuff. So unfortunately, this learning has been so strong that everybody started to race out, to be perfect, to project that I am fine, I'm well, I'm good, there's nothing wrong with me. So when this has become the norm, when you come out or you step forward to say something is not right with me, it becomes against the norm. And everybody's like, it's just like how you walk into a room full of people, everybody looks at you. That is just for 1 second. And that is because somebody is making a different movement. Because I'm sitting, somebody is entering, so I just look and that's gone, that's it. But you just have that fear, wow, everybody's looking at me. So and then it disappears once you sit. So you cannot have that fear of entering the room just because people look at you. It just disappears when you sit. So all you need to do is brace yourself, go in and then sit, and then everybody's focus is on the next person. You see. So we have to get over this. It has been bad, I think 5-10 years ago, but thank God things are moving to for the better, with these efforts by many people. We have got mental health day, we have got a counseling month in Malaysia, and we have got a lot of advocacies being done about mental health, like the platforms that we are speaking right now. With all these efforts, people are coming forward. People are fine to say, like, I think even Vanita and June even shared that you went through therapies and there's nothing wrong about it. So we need this. You cannot put this burden on the nurse or therapists like me and Linda to sort it out. We are doing what we can, but everybody have to be an ambassador of mental wellness, and share to everyone. Say it's okay. It's okay to say that you need help. It's okay to say that you want to meet someone and discuss. It's okay to say that you want to talk to someone who's very professional. So all of us have to be an ambassador to this. And I sincerely hope, with this question, leveraging on this question, everyone here, I believe there's quite a big number with WieN Group. So take it up tonight, be an ambassador to promote mental health. Let's everyone, let's all of us do our part to say it's okay to come up, step forward, and get the right help. It's okay for you to sprain your leg and go and get medical. There's so many options. You go to the tukang urut, you go to the hospital, you go to the what do you call therapist, physiotherapist. So why not you have a sprain? You sprain in your mind and come to us. And we're just going to help you out. And you have to always remember that almost all of these mental health therapies assistance are done in a very professional manner with an ethic, where we have the akta kerahsiaan. We have akta counselor, where we protect whatever we discuss and it's not being disclosed. So do step forward. Let's, the stigma and labeling has done its damage. So let's it's now our turn to flip it over and make it go away. So you have to work hand in hand. Right. Thanks,
Yeah,
Vanita.
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. It's okay not to be okay. That's the truth. Thank you, Mr. Serena. One of our viewers has just said that, and kita jaga kita, of course, and we're going towards the, our Independence Day. It's such a patriotic day. It's coming up just a couple of days from now. This is the time. I know that things are not going as per what we want it to, to be, or how we want it to go, but let's help each other. Let's band together and help each other. This is the only way we can actually do it. And and again, JK and I are very happy to give an introductory psychological well-being program, which is going to be a private session, but it's going to be a group session. Maybe perhaps not too big a group, but we want to be able to do that. I will put up all the details after this session. I'll put it up on WieN Group and also our voices, including the. I'll give you a link for you to
So,
register as well.
so just for the benefit of the viewers, so what are we looking at? I mean, what are the cost parameters per
So,
hour per
yep.
session?
Yep. For the normal members, we will do 70 ringgit. It's a 90-minute session, and then for the WP members, it's about 60 ringgit for 90 minutes.
Wow! Oh my God, that's such a good deal.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
absolutely fantastic. That's an
So
amazing,
it's
and
a
I want
90-minute session.
everyone to take it up. 60 ringgit for WPC,
Yep.
and that's 90 minutes. That's 1.5 hours. I must say that I've paid quite a bit for my sessions. Had I known, I would have come in at this point, but it's still quality regardless. Yeah, I would really encourage everyone. And what is 60 ringgit, 70 ringgit compared to the fact that you're getting exponential value? You're taking care of yourself, you're strengthening your foundation, and you are going forward with that. All the embellishments and all the cosmetic finishes of the external is nothing compared to getting your house right, getting your fundamentals right. And this is why, for me, I needed a refresher. I feel I do have some good foundation, but sometimes we get off the boat. And I took grief counseling because I lost my mother in March, and I'm not ashamed to say that I was just feeling numb. I had a void, and I was like, how can I even think of doing anything when I really need to go through the grieving process? And it's still something that's there, but at least I have addressed it rather than pushing it away, pushing it away. It's like a volcano, and it's going to destabilize me even more. So our public face needs our private face to be taken care of, before we can go out there. So I really, really want, and I would really like everybody to take this and look at the information that Vanita is saying. And then if it's for you, it's for you. And if it's not, then there's also some other options in there. I'm sure Vanita can be also exploring that. Yeah. But ultimately, it's either now or never. And then, let's not make excuses anymore, because we can see it. We can see it bubbling over in WieN and in our voices and a lot of places. Even off WieN, I can see it everywhere. But yet, I don't know. I think it's the stigma, and it's also the fact that you're thought of as differently. But we've got to stop pairing ourselves to live up to the Joneses. Do not compare yourself with anyone else. You are going through your own issue, which you need to benchmark with yourself.
True.
That right before you can face the world. If not, you're always going to be second guessing yourself. So hence, I'm really, really advocating this has to be done, once and for all. And it's 60 ringgit. People spend that on a handbag or even a meal for 3 people, 4 people. Here, you're really feeding your soul, feeding your mental wellness. So I'm definitely on for it. And I think a few sessions, like 4 or 5 sessions to get you back on speed, and then to face the world, and that's good enough. Just a small investment to get you up there. So I think, by all means. And I also want to impress to everyone that I'm not at any point a middle person. We are not getting any commission. I do not want any of that. This is all for the community, and I want everybody to look at it. It's for you. So basically, when Vanita came up with this plan, I was on top of it, because I look at the costing and I was like, wow, this is at least 50% or more cheaper than mainstream offerings. So I would really like everybody to look at it.
Yep. That's true. Thank you. Yes, we are doing this at this price because we want to give back to the community as well. Again, we are giving you really really good counselors, right? As we've already spoken to Serene and also Linda. They have got a wealth of experience in handling situations as well. So the introductory session will be on next week. I will put on all the details right after this onto WieN and also our voices together with the link so you can register. And before we leave, we're almost over an hour before we leave. Serene, is there anything you would like to say to the viewers?
Right. Definitely. What I would really love to recall what we have discussed. And before that, thank you so much for this platform. It's happy to know that we have managed to engage with a group of people with the right message, so that they understand, and especially at this pressing time where everyone seems to somehow bump into an issue, and they're struggling to get out of it. Right. It's like we are offering a hand to someone who's trying to stay afloat. So I really thank the opportunity given, and definitely to everyone out there, whatever that you are facing, remember that there's always the better option to go for. And like I would like to quote what June said, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So it's not about waiting for the light to arrive. It's about you taking the courage to find the light. The trust that the light will be there is one thing, but taking the effort to find the light is another thing. So leverage on that. Take all the initiative to develop the strength. Never break down. No matter how difficult it is, at the end of the day, it takes your own effort to come out of it, and definitely with the right method, right exposure, you can do it, right? So wish everyone the best, and thank you so much. Definitely, JK, thank you so much for creating this opportunity for everyone. I believe everybody is like looking, okay, right, I understand, so what do I do, where do I go? That will be the first question. So normally, even we practitioners also, we are ready to help, but then sometimes we are at the crossroads where we don't prepare that where is the road, where do you go next, we are there, like when you reach to us, we'll help you, but then where is the road, you have to find it out. So I think JK has put a very good initiative to show this is the road, so that's the road, there we are at the end of the road, and there you are, so just put yourself in the right place. And thanks again, Jay, for the wonderful initiative and effort. And I respect that every one of us, we are not from that background, but yet we do champion something, understanding the importance of it. So that's the beauty of it. Like Linda said, we are all creating hope, so let's hope for the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Suren. Linda, do you have anything to say to the viewers before we leave?
Well, I echo what Mr. Suren has said. Yeah, all of us are practicing hope at the same time. Yeah, we're working together. Kita jaga kita. And then, I thank Jay and also Vani, yeah, for all this initiative, and also June, yeah, to create this community of care for all of us. That where counseling services become very, affordable and also reachable to a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Jay, do you have anything to say, Jay?
I think they all said so much as possible, but yeah, I would like to thank Suren and Linda especially for coming on board, in helping me also to send the message, send the proper message out, and June and Vanita to also for giving us the platform to take this further. Right. I hope
Wonderful.
all the members out there take this opportunity. It's a very golden opportunity. Take this great opportunity and using our bridge to connect with the right counselors and the right people, and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much.
And just to add on, we have multilingual counselors as well. If you're free to talk
Yes.
to someone who, also, in terms of gender, so we have male counselors, female counselors, as you can see. If you say, okay, I have a problem with language, I'd rather have someone who speaks Mandarin, we also have that. We also have counselors from, if you want to have, if you don't speak the Malaysian languages and, international language, we also have translators as well. So, yep.
Okay, I'm putting up. I want to ask a question. Can I? Or can I?
Of course.
Okay, thank you very much to all of you. I mean, Vani, Suren, JK, and Linda, you've been fantastic. I mean, the golden nuggets coming from all of you has been spot on. Now, I would like to offer a sponsorship of 1 times 5 sessions for a WPC member. How do I go about it? I want to sponsor. It's going to be 300 ringgit worth, right? 60 ringgit times by 5. That's like a nominal session, right? 5 sessions.
Yeah, you would think 5 sessions, right? 5 sessions be a nominal
Sponsor.
session.
I want to sponsor one person. Maybe Vani and I can also talk about having that sort of like, if we're able to just get the ball rolling, I would like to do that sponsorship, fully sponsored by WieN Group, Cindy and Brahad. So we are wanting to do that. So I think Vani will think about how is the mechanics, because we would like to hear, who is the most, the person who would most benefit from this. And there's quite a few out there. And let's see how we can go. Perhaps we can make it even two people times by, those 5 sessions. We'll talk about it, because I'm really invested in this and I want them. And if we can start with the 2 persons, then we can actually also see and talk to them as to the effects of what they went through. And perhaps that's part of this program itself, because we would like to invest in the right way for people who will really really use it and be impacted accordingly, and then of course share their experience with
Yeah.
to be able to move forward. So perhaps that's something I would like to offer, and we'll talk about the mechanics of that money in the
Yep.
next coming days. We'll look at two people at the moment, and let's see how they go from the interest, and so on. Yeah.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. Thank you so much, June. Thank you so much. That is amazing because you know what, we've got to start somewhere. Like Surin says, uh, you can't reach the light. You
mm,
if you
mm.
don't try, correct? We can't bring the light to you. You have to walk towards the light,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
and I want them
yeah,
to. Yeah.
yeah.
And if it's, to me 600 and I see the impact, because this person can impact many, because they're either, they're a mother or a daughter or a sister. They have networks that will be impacted by the fact that they've gone through this journey to help themselves, and they will be so much better for it. So I would like to sponsor two individuals, and I want to see the traction after that, and thereafter continue also with with others also wanting to do the same.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just have thank you everyone for this wonderful talk, much needed during this time, someone says, and thank you much for helpful words and support. We need more sessions. Yes, we could do more sessions, but come, do join us for introductory session. That's our first session, and I'm thank you, June, for offering to sponsor two people. And then after introductory session, if you think you need more sessions, yes, we want to keep this going, because again, one session may not be enough for you. You need more sessions, and but then the introductory session will be something for you to put your leg in. At least that's one step. You got to take that first step, if you want to get somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And we are all here as a community to help each other. Again, as we said, we're going to, we're creating hope. So I really, really hope that you would, and I will right after this put up a post up on WieN with all the details as well. So thank you so much, June. Thank you so much, June, for coming on and
yeah,
helping
I
us
feel.
together.
Yes, yes. Thank you, everybody, too. And thank you all for tuning in. Everybody, at three
Thank
of
you.
our destinations. And please continue to comment and look out for Vani. And she will connect you to the right direction if you want to know more information. Okay. So, okay, I think we've come to an end of a wonderful, wonderful hour plus here
Yeah.
at WieN.
Yeah. Thank you, Soren. Thank you, Linda. And thank you,
Thank you.
JK. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
June.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very, very much.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
bye everybody and see you at
Bye
our
bye.
next session.
Bye
Okay, so
bye.
I'm
Goodbye.
gonna end the
Good
broadcast.
night.
Okay.